under POZ Impact. That's POZIMPACT. And if you happen to miss our show, please subscribe to it. Hello, everybody. I don't know if I'm live. I think I'm live. Welcome to POZ Impact. Hold on. Testing. Hi everybody, welcome to POZ Impact, Houston's first radio show dedicated to people living with HIV, their friends and family, on Real Talk 100 Radio. We are so happy to have Michelle Palmer with us. She is running for Texas State Board of Education District 6. So if you have questions for her, give us a call. Our number is 281-318-8650. Again, our number is 281-318-8650. We want to welcome everybody to all of our listeners to a new year. Thanks for listening to us for an amazing 2019, and 2020 is going to be better. I was just signing official documents for 2020, and I remember someone telling me, "Don't sign 20-0." I was like, oh, 2-0, okay. But anyways, guys, we are super excited to have Michelle with us. So Michelle, go ahead and introduce yourself to our listeners and tell us what you're running for and what made you decide to run for the Texas State Board of Education.
All right, hi everyone. My name is Michelle Palmer and I'm a teacher. I am a high school social studies teacher, history, government, that sort of thing. And I am running for the Texas State Board of Education District 6, which is the west side of Harris County. It covers everything from Katy and Cypress, Tomball, down to Westview, Bel Air, Gulfton, Jimmy Rock area. And I am running because, as a teacher, when I look at the curriculum standards that I'm expected to teach, I often find propaganda in my required teaching standards, and that bothers me. And the State Board of Education is the one that approves new curriculum standards, and I feel like we need a history teacher on there that understands that the earth is not only 6,000 years old, and that Moses was not in fact the founding father of the United States, and so forth. So I tried to find somebody, another education advocate, to run for this position all of 2018. Every one of them kept telling me, no, you should run, and so I am.
Nice, very nice. No, welcome. I appreciate you running because we need teachers in the classroom who believe in science and believe in actual teaching the right things to our students, because our students are our future. If we can't teach our students, then how are we going to teach everybody else? Like, what are they going to learn to? I just want to start off with saying also this is a new year, and so I use he/him pronouns, and I saw that you use she/her pronouns, and so that's what my goal is to make sure that we all introduce ourselves with our proper pronouns. So when I saw your thing, I was like, yeah, okay. It just like went a little.
It's on my Twitter. It's on my Facebook. It's on my website. Absolutely.
I absolutely love that, and I meant to add that to my signature.
It's on my email signature.
On my email. So that is one of my goals for 2020. Just because I think it's, even though people automatically will assume, I want to have a reaction for people like, oh, I will keep put that on their discussion. And I can just let them know that, hey, you know what, there's people who don't address themselves as she or him. But anyways, that's, actually, yes, that is education, because we want to make sure that we educate our students, and that there is just more than just two sexes.
It's not a binary.
It's binary. Yes. Yeah. And so we're super excited. I know I'm seeing a little platform here, and I know you're teaching U.S. Studies. What's your so Houston, I mean, I know Texas writes the curriculum, and it's so important for Houston, Houston to be represented and to actually have somebody on the board. And how do you think that we can increase our current statistics from where we're at I think it's number 38 in the nation, to number 1 and number 2? I mean, Texas is just so low, and I just don't understand why are we not spending enough money. Is it the money? Is it the people who are running it? Is it a little combination of both? That we're just so low in total poll. I know we talked earlier about this, but for our listeners who weren't listening to our chat, who weren't privy to our conversation, we talked about how Texas was the last, or was the second to the last, not that long ago, and we just recently improved to number 30 something, 38 I think on the list, but 38 out of 50 states. You know, we have to remember we're still low. You know, we're not number 2, we're not number 1. Houston wants Texas is like, oh, we're the biggest state of the nation, and we're this, and we're number 1. But education, how do we get education to come back to being popular, to people wanting to address education, to people wanting to teach our kids the right materials? I mean, there's so much going on right now. I know Katie just passed something that they're no longer giving like F grades, or they're no longer giving 60s or something like that to everybody. Everybody has a passing grade. And I'm thinking, like,
interesting. I hadn't heard that.
how can you do that? Like, I thought like the Texas controls, you know, like everybody has the same system of grading.
No, everybody does not have the same system of grading. Some school districts, you can't give a 0 even if the student didn't turn in the homework assignment, or even didn't refuse to take a test. You can't give them a 0. You have to give them a 50. And some districts don't. So grades are completely up to, well, certain things in grades are completely up to the district. Some are up to the principal. Legally, officially, a district, a state, a principal cannot actually tell a teacher what to do in their grade book. Officially, legally,
okay,
per the state of Texas, it is the teacher's grade book, and they are supposed to be able to put in grades that they deem fit. Now, that's not the way it works. But but legally,
but that is so interesting. I didn't know that. So teachers really can give whatever grade they choose based on
their standards.
Their standards.
Right. If I create a rubric and you do a project and I grade the project based on that rubric, and you didn't follow any of the directions, and you did a project, but you ended up with a 7 on the project. Out of 100.
Lord.
I can give you a 7 out of 100. Now, I'm not going to, probably. What I will probably do is ask you to examine some of the parts of the project, and let's read over the instructions and see what you didn't understand. But it's supposed to be up to the teacher what happens in the grade book. As far as why Texas is 38, it is a combination. You mentioned it's a combination. It's definitely a combination. As advocates for anything, you know that where you put your money is your priorities, right? Yeah. Your budget tells you what the priorities of that body is, whether it's a school district, a city, a county, or a state, or a company. And so the state of Texas, for the last however many years, more than a decade, has not valued education in the state of Texas. And so education has fallen behind. In addition, when you have curriculum that is problematic, that also makes it difficult for Texas to compete on national tests. When the curriculum isn't fair and balanced, let's say, then doesn't hold fidelity to the facts, then when a student is taking a national standardized test, it's going to be very difficult for that student to compete with students in states that believe in science and believe history as it is instead of as they want it to be, and so forth.
No, thank you so much. So So the little commotion is happening here, and my co-host Lady Hale just arrived, and she brought William, Apostle William with him. He is a Grammy-nominated recorded artist of the year.
Me too.
But this is Michelle, and so we're still talking about education, and I want to have a just an open dialogue. And so I talked to you a little bit earlier, Lady Hale. She's trying to open up her own charter school, and Acres Home, where there is a need for somebody who's going to educate our kids. Somebody who's actually going to make sure that our kids are passing, and not just giving them a grade, but making sure that they're able to read, make sure that they're able to write, make sure they're able to comprehend of what they're actually doing. And most of these skills are just being forgotten. How do growing your food and making sure responsibilities. When you take care of something, when it's your baby, whatever it is, taking care of a pet at the school, or whether taking care of a guardian, when you start from finish and you see the results, you have a sense of pride, and those techniques will get with you, will stay with you forever. And so that's Lady Hale's idea, and that's her dream, is to open up a charter school where we are teaching our kids far beyond what they're currently being teaching. Having an after-school class daycare for them, having somewhere where they can go, drop off their kids first in the morning, preschool, after school, making sure that there's something available for these children, and always somebody teaching them. Reading them a book, or hey, let's explore this. Let's go here. We're gonna have a field trip to this place, and yeah, it may be fun, but it's also why are we doing this? Why are we going on this field trip, and how are we planning it? And these kids these days really don't know anything. It's only laptops and games and gimme now, but all these features that we're losing.
Yes.
Lady Hale is trying to bring them back.
Yes.
That's her goal, and that's why I'm so supportive of charter school, Shining Stars Academy, Shining Stars Leadership Academy.
Yes.
Let me get that right.
Yes.
Because I want to see, and I was opposed to charter schools. I see all these charter schools that are not making a difference, but I feel like not everybody's cut from the same cloth.
Right.
And so and we talked about this a little bit, for our listeners who weren't here, there's a middle ground, and I love that term that you gave to me. You're like, yes, we can meet in the middle, and I may not always agree with you, but I can find common ground of what you want to do, because at the end of the day, we're here for the children.
Children.
That's what we're here to do.
That's right.
I care for my children. I care for your children.
Right.
That's what our goal should be, and that's what our mentality is.
Right.
Unfortunately, I don't see that happening in Houston at the moment,
Depends on the school.
Well, I'm gonna say HIC at the moment, because we're
Even in HIC, it depends on the school. Carnegie Vanguard, they are educating students. Not all schools are.
Yeah. Well, why is that? So, but if you have a district, so HIC has, or a district, and it's right now being, the potential of being taken over, whether it does or doesn't. And to me, I'm like, okay, I don't really care, but at the same time, it's failing. Where something is not happening that has been happening, something that we're doing is not doing it properly.
But the reason that the one school that has caused the takeover to happen, the reason that school is failing is because charter schools have pulled out all the kids that do pass tests, and that has left a higher percentage of students who won't pass the test, and that has caused that school to fail.
So, but shouldn't all kids be able to pass the test? So, yes, and
there is no way we're ever going to get 100% of kids to pass this test.
You don't think
These tests are very hard. The U.S. history test that I teach for, yes, almost every kid is going to pass that test. It's not that hard of a test. But the English stars are very difficult tests. And if you have not been speaking English your entire life,
yeah,
and if you have not been you don't have parents that read, and therefore
Yeah.
you have that passion for reading, it's very difficult. Plus, when you read the Star, I was looking at I can't remember what year it was. I think it was 2014, but I might be wrong on that. English Star, for English 1, I think it was. And there's a story in there about a little girl who lives in Paris, in a mansion. You tell me which urban kid
We can relate.
relates to
Yeah.
that. Exactly.
Brilliant.
The kids just read the premise of the story
Right.
and their brains shut down. They don't even try to answer the questions. And I completely understand that, because if they need to be able to relate to the stories that are in the test, otherwise it is not going to happen.
Well, and to piggyback off what you're saying, I grew up in Acres Home and Fieldwood myself. So I'm not just opening up a school in an area, a low income area. I'm opening up a school from an area that I came from, and my family and relatives are still there, and I'm still working in that community. And I hear that all the time. People say, well, the charter school takes all of the best students away and just leave us with what's left. But those are the kids that I want, the ones that are left. Yeah, because and the kids that I see, because I have the after school program and the summer reading program, these kids are 2 to 3 grade levels behind. So if you already can pass your STAR test, you already up there, I'm not really looking for you. I'm looking for these kids that are 2 to 3 grade levels behind with the discipline problems, because not
That's where I've been teaching.
okay, because
It's a
not
school like
one curriculum fits all children.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's why at our school we're going to have the individual curriculum for each child. And then a lot of times you got to find out, why is that child having behavior problems? What's going on at the home?
What's the underlying
What is
cause?
going? It's always the underlying cause, because I had a young lady, because I was teaching first grade, and she was always a straight A student. And then all of a sudden, she started missing homework. Everything changed. And so I tried to tell her teacher, I said, well, you need to find out, because this baby's a straight A student. And she kept giving her zeros and zeros. And to find out, the baby didn't have lights at the home. So the teacher just couldn't understand how you could not have lights at home. Just like I tell you, a lot of our kids, when they leave, they do not have food when they get home. So that's why I always had a closet full of food that they can take home. Yeah, I always have that for the kids. And then make sure on their Friday they got their backpack money and things like that. And then also work with the parents. So that's one of the stigmas that I'm trying to change for is charter school, that all we want to do is to get the good kids. No, those are not the kids I'm looking for.
Right, and that's what I was saying to Josh before you got here, is that there's always middle ground.
Right.
Because there are, and I've always said, there are good charters.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there are bad charters.
Yes, I totally
right?
agree.
And there are too many charters with zero transparency.
Yes,
They don't know
yes.
where.
Well,
This
the
is our tax
finances
money,
going right.
Our tax money.
And that's
should know what's
why
going on.
the way I have it set up, we're going to have an external CPA to come in, and I've talked with TAA. You know, they have some, so I want them to come in and monitor us. And then on a monthly basis, we will have, with the meetings, the public is open to come in and look at our financial record. We have a parent advisory board also, and the parents will come in, they will go over, see where we're spending the money, what we need to go for the kids. So we are fully transparency, for is that, because that's taxpayer dollars. And I want to make sure that our children in Acres Home, 3rd Ward, 4th Ward, 5th Ward are getting a fair education, just like in River Oaks. So I want them, and I just received from the federal government, they gave us about 200 laptops. So each one of our children will be able to have laptops that they will be working on with the, we're going to have a smart board and all of that, because I want to bring technology back to the kids, because a lot of our kids, when we would go to the STEM projects and stuff, competition, I didn't see anyone look like me there. I didn't. I didn't. We were looking, I would take the kids, because we have a young lady, she's an engineer at NASA, so she was judging one of the competitions, so she allowed me and my kids to go. We didn't see anybody there that looked like us. But I believe my children are capable of being into that. I believe they can be a robotics. I believe they can do that. And that's what we're doing right now. I'm exposing our children to that, because just like for Christmas, we just chartered a bus from First Class Tours. We went all over the city of Houston, River Oaks, Memorial. We took those kids from Acres Home, 3rd Ward, 4th Ward, 5th Ward. Many of them had never been out their neighborhood. And our charter school is not even open yet. So we're already serving the children. So when people bring that up to me, well, this and that, I'm like, we are not even open yet, and we already serving our community.
I spent the last 5 years working in Baltimore.
Okay,
So
I know, but
it's,
yeah.
it's a Latino version
Yeah,
of
of what
Baker's
I-
Home,
yeah,
basically. And now I'm working in Aldi,
Okay.
which again,
Right.
it's right there beside
Right, and
Baker's
we right
Homes,
next door to each other.
Yeah. So I understand completely. I
Yes.
have purposely chosen to spend my life in schools where I feel like students need
They
good,
would need you. Yeah.
passionate
And that's the kind of
teachers.
schools I've been in. You know,
Yeah.
I've had the opportunity to go to other schools and teach, but I wanted to go back to the schools that I went to because my elementary school is Natcher Henderson at Fifth Ward. And when I would go to that school, and I even look at that school now, it breaks my heart because this prison is a replica of a small prison system because it has the boards all on the school, and then they have the barbed wires and everything, just like you're going into a prison. I understand you got to keep people out to keep the kids safe, but what is that telling them in their mind? When I got to go through these prison walls. When I'm looking out my window at school, I got to look through these prison bars.
It absolutely drives me crazy that I changed districts this year.
Okay.
And that my new school is required to have metal detectors.
Yes, they are.
I
Wow.
hate that because HIC
What
was
grade?
not.
What grade are
high
you?
school.
Oh, well, see, that's different. But
But
see,
even high
even,
school, I mean,
yeah, I
it
understand.
shouldn't be.
And
Required
another
metal
thing,
detector?
thing that I didn't like, and I would see in my own school, I went to Phyllis High School. Like, okay, everybody line up on the wall, walk on the wall. So what are you telling me in my mind? What are you getting me ready for? Because when I go to prison, that's how we walk. So why are you already aligning me up with some things like this? So that's my reason for the charter school. And like I tell anybody, they would say, well, you're not transparent. But I haven't even opened, and I've raised over $350,000 myself. You know, with Josh and other people, we've raised our money. So it's not like we're sitting here waiting on the taxpayers' dollars, because we're educating our kids, we're taking them on field trips, we're actually doing things for them, and we haven't gotten a dime from the state.
Right. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I would like to see an audit. So
Yes.
what I want to see is an audit of all existing charters.
I agree.
Not just financial.
Yeah.
Yes, financial needs to happen.
Yes.
But also, every charter should be educating every type of student.
And I agree with that. That's
So-
right. I agree.
Because so many charters, you know, they
Pick and
just
choose.
Yes, they tell the parents. I just don't think the parents of special education students, right?
Oh,
I
them
just
my
don't
babies,
think we
no.
same,
Them my babies,
same.
no.
But they'll tell the parents,
No.
I just don't know if we have the services
No,
that
that's
your
my
child is
babies.
going to need.
I'm not turning my babies away.
And so I think that every one of those schools should be required to have a similar
I agree.
percentage
I
as
agree.
the
Yeah.
other neighborhood schools around.
And how do you do that? Is that by? Is
I
that by?
think
Is
that
that
it
by
has to
like
go
putting
through
in the rules?
legislation.
I think it
don't
would have to
have to
go
go.
through legislation.
And see,
Yes.
like with us, with Jake and them, Love Has No Disability. It's an organization of parents who have children with disabilities. So they have their own board that they work with us with. So if a parent come in and there's a special need baby or something, we will make sure that they're there and they can make sure that we are doing what we're supposed to do to that child. But that's in my heart anyway, so I'm not gonna let none of my babies get. I'm not gonna let them get.
There's far too many
overlooked.
charters out there.
Yeah.
They don't, I mean, they have literally, the average charter in Texas has less than 1% special education
Right.
students.
Wow.
And the average
I
public
understand.
school has what, 15%?
Yes.
I mean, that is unacceptable. You're basically forcing neighborhood schools to have a much higher percentage.
Right.
Which makes it more difficult for those schools to meet the state standard.
Right. And that's always been my goal. It's not that, okay, take all your good kids, y'all keep them, send me the other ones. I want them. Those are the ones that I
I
want.
want the challenge.
Yeah, I want those that never passed their STAR test. Because I believe if you tap into that child's ability, and you got to find out what is his strength, are his weaknesses, because he might be strong in math and weak in reading. So that means we need to focus on his reading, get him extra tutors. But then we got to find out what's the underlying behavior so we can deal with that. It could be simple as something as the child is hungry.
Yeah.
It could be.
It could be something
yeah.
I can learn when I'm hungry, but
Right.
nobody thinks about that.
And it could be that they're trying to, you know how some teachers force you to read those
Right.
boring
No,
books. No,
that's not what we do.
You have to find what they're passionate about.
Right.
If they love football,
Or if
there
they like
are-
Marvel or
Right.
Black Panther,
There are
let's read
books
about
out
them.
there,
Right.
you know?
And what I do every night, I have story time with Lady Hale. So on Facebook Live,
Yeah.
because I only read to like the elementary kids, and I read them a bedtime story every night, and so the kids can log on along with their parents, and we can have discussion about reading. I let the children pick the books. We have the book club, and these are some of the things that the children had decided that they want to do. I want to spark that in their mind because I came from exactly where they come from. I lived in those projects where you were living, so I know what you're going through. So, and like I tell them, I'm in the process of getting my doctorate in education. So someone come out of Acres Home and Fifth Ward can get a doctorate, you can do it. Because we had Barbara Jordan, Mika Leela, we had all of these people that came from right where you are. And even our own mayor, Sylvester Turner, came right from Acres Home. So I just try to expose those kids to positive role models that have come exactly where we've come from, and we can make it. I've never been to prison. I've never been to jail. So, you can't say that's where we headed because we're not. And if I can save at least one, I've done my job.
I agree. And it sounds wonderful. I'm glad you're doing it.
Yes.
I do know that, again, I have friends that teach in charter schools, and they do amazing work. They're
Right.
passionate teachers.
Yes.
They care about their students, and that's wonderful.
Yes.
But that's not all charters, right?
Oh, I
We know.
understand. Just like our regular public schools.
That's
I know.
right.
Because
That's right.
like the one that I went to, we didn't even have enough books in there. We didn't even have a gym. Things like that.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, I understand where you're coming from. We didn't have the extra curriculum activities to get on the bus to go where the other schools would go to. Extra activities after school. We didn't have that.
Yeah, I've worked, when I've been in high school, I've worked at very small schools. We
Okay.
didn't have a lot of that stuff either.
Right.
My previous school, we didn't have a gym.
Yeah.
And my current school, we do, but it's
Okay.
very small because it's on a community college campus. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
just a little
So what
bit
position are you running for? Because I came in.
State Board of Education, District 6. So I'm all about curriculum. And
Oh,
wanting
you're doing the
to-
curriculum. That's what my
Yeah.
master's was in curriculum.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Mine's in political science.
Okay.
So I want to see the curriculum be about facts and not propaganda.
I agree. I totally agree.
Why is climate change completely ignored in our science curriculum? Right?
We've
Why-
talked about that.
Why do we still to this day have abstinence-only sex education? Or now they call it abstinence plus,
Okay.
but most teachers still teach abstinence only. And
Right.
that's the reason we have the 5th highest teen pregnancy rate.
So what would you incorporate in that particular for the
Into
sex?
sex education.
Yes.
I would say comprehensive sex education. You need
Okay.
to talk about condoms.
Yes.
You need to talk about STIs. You need to talk about the fact that Texas and Houston in specific have far too high of an HIV infection rate. And that in the black community particularly, that it's one of the highest.
Yes. And you think once you are elected, you will be able to do that, or you
Well,
will still have to go through the legislature?
some
go
of
through
this.
okay.
Yeah, the climate change,
Right.
we can do
Yeah, I know we can get
Right.
the climate change.
We can,
Right
I mean,
there.
like, right now, they include Moses as an influence on the founding documents of the United States when he had nothing to do with the founding of the United States.
How did he? Okay,
yeah.
I missed that one.
No, Moses was
That's
6,000
not-
years ago, so, yeah, no.
Oh no. Wrong.
So, things like that where
Uh-huh.
they have stuck propaganda
Into
the
it.
curriculum,
Yeah.
we can take care of. We can
Oh,
get rid of
good. That sounds good.
There's another thing in the health curriculum that we can take care of immediately. Currently, the only time rape is considered or is taught in the curriculum, the health curriculum, is in how not to be a victim yourself. So that's very victim blaming, and I very much dislike that. So, like, the word consent does not exist in the health curriculum. And everyone from pre-K all the way to high school health should be learning about consent. And little kids learn
A good
about it.
touch, bad touch. That's what I teach my babies.
I mean, pre-K kids.
They understand a
Pre-K
lot.
teachers are
agree.
like, you don't touch her without her permission.
Yeah.
Right.
They teach it all the time.
Yeah. keep your hands
But once
to
you get to
yourself.
middle school, they stop teaching consent. And that's when you really have to, what is consent? Why
Yes.
is it
Explain
important?
it, yes.
What does it look like? How do you ask for it?
And no means no. No
Yeah,
matter
no
and no matter
matter
what
what.
time, no matter if I said yes,
Yeah.
no matter if I said yes the first time, but if I say no at any
It's
time,
just
it means
reason.
no. And
Exactly.
so that is so
Somebody
important.
wanted to know, how do you know so much about the curriculum?
Ah.
That's what I was answering her.
Well, you're a teacher.
Yeah, but go ahead. Answer then. I'll let you answer.
Yeah, I know
her.
a lot about curriculum
She wanted
because
to know how.
I have studied this. When I was looking at, I'm a U.S. history teacher, so
Okay, I love history.
so when I was looking at the 8th grade U.S. history curriculum to see what my students already know, so I can make more connections for my 11th grade U.S. history students, that's when I found Moses in the curriculum, and I
How did
was
Moses
a
get
little confused as to how that got in there. So I started
it a
researching.
typo?
It was not a typo. It was in 2010 when the Tea Party swept in.
Right, right.
They swept a plethora of very religious, evangelical people who had nothing to do with education and had never had into the State Board of Education. And when they did that, they took over and they rewrote a lot of the curriculum.
But it wasn't correct.
Yeah, exactly. In 2012, there was a documentary made about the Texas State Board of Education.
Right, I saw it.
Called The Revisionaries, because they like to revise history
Everything.
and everything else. Exactly.
Right.
So we still need, I mean, in order to take control of the Texas Education Board, how many seats do we
We
need?
need to flip 3,
Oh.
and we have 3 that Beto won last year
Yes.
that are up this time, including 6, which is what
Oh,
we can flip. And this is what I keep harping on.
Yeah.
If we have the right people win, people that are workhorses, that are going to get this work
Yes.
done,
Yes.
win the primaries,
Yes.
then we will be able to flip the Texas State Board of Education. And that doesn't just change education for Texas, because Texas buys textbooks as a state instead of by district.
Districts.
We're so powerful, and so the textbooks are written for Texas, right?
Right.
Because we're the number 1 buyer, number 1 customer for textbooks. That's how, remember last year, the year before, it was like year before last, when slaves as migrant workers, remember that
was
textbook?
so horrible.
Yes. That came from a textbook that was written for Texas standards. And so
Wow.
to
Remember
get
that,
rid of
yes.
stuff like that in textbooks across the country,
Yeah. It starts
we
with
can-
Texas.
It
Start with
Texas.
us.
It starts with Texas.
And so your primary is in June. I mean, in
March.
March. Hers is in
June.
March
March.
3rd.
Sorry. I was thinking in my head March.
So when is the actual race?
So March 3rd is the
Is the
primary, and there
primaries.
are 3 of us in that race, but I'm the only one that's an active teacher.
Okay.
And then if I win, then November 3rd, even if I don't,
You will
the
win.
general
You will,
election
yeah,
is November
November.
3rd, because it's the same as the presidential election.
Because my state rep was Lawrence Allen. Are you familiar with him?
Well, he's
He's
your
retired.
state representative.
Yeah,
state
he's
Board of Education.
retired.
Well, he's not. You mean your state board of education?
Yeah,
member.
for
he
the
has
charter.
actually continued being
Okay.
state board of education, but he's also, because he's not up for
He's running
election.
for his mom's seat.
No, he's running for a different state legislature.
Okay.
She's
Alma
running-
Edwards. Yeah.
Alma Allen is
Yeah,
his mother,
his
and
mother.
she's running also.
Right.
But and hers is in Harris County. He's running for a position
Fort
in
Bend,
Fort
right,
Bend
right.
County.
Wow.
That's also state
Avante
legislature.
is running against his mother.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Avante somebody.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so, yes, that we could have 2 Allens on the,
I know,
in
that's
the
what I'm
state
saying.
legislature.
So he's
plus
still
one
on
the
the seat?
HISD board.
His sister.
His sister, exactly. He is still in the seat because
Okay.
he just won re-election in 18.
Yeah.
So he's not up again until 22.
Okay.
So,
Because he had a big retirement party and everything.
oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh,
had a
maybe he
party.
did retire.
Yeah, he had a party and everything.
Maybe he retired from HISD then, because I don't.
Maybe HIS
They
did.
didn't
Yeah, because he had a party and
retired
everything.
from State Board of
TEA,
Education.
yeah, for that, because he was my rep. I would have to always go talk to him, but he's very helpful. You know,
Yeah.
he was always helpful in whatever we need. You know, he's always helpful.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Good.
yeah.
know, with teaching, like, you know, just like all education, you know, like when we're starting in Texas, we create the we create the
She
textbooks.
said it was HISD.
You know, so how do we like get people? Because this is not an interesting race. This is not
It's not a race most people
Well,
even
But
know.
about,
Yes,
right. Most people don't
or
know
people
about.
like, you know, State Board of Education. What
They think it's HISD
Yes.
or whatever.
Yeah. So how do
Yeah.
you get people interested in, you know, because we talk a lot, you know, about what we're trying to accomplish,
Right.
but also like it's your vote that makes this happen.
Right.
It's boots on the ground. It's, you know, volunteering. So how can people volunteer for your
Right,
office?
right.
How can
So-
people reach out to you to get more information regarding your candidacy?
So my website is palmerfortexased.com, and they can go on there and to contact me, or email Michelle, the number 4, SBOE, the number 6, @gmail.com, to contact me. And I have about 30 precinct chairs on the west side, because I'm a precinct chair. And so I know a lot of them, and I have worked with them, and I have
Okay.
worked for them, and so they're now working with me and for me.
That's
So
good.
they're going to be block walking for, and have been block walking for me. I've been block walking since May. I've already
Wow.
contacted close to 5,000 voters.
Wow.
That are all people who always vote in the Democratic primary. Now it's going to take more than that, because the number of voters in this race in the 16 primary was 67,000. And we know that it's going to be bigger this time, right? Because
Right.
this presidential primary is dragging people out. People are going to come out and
Yeah,
vote
they
for
coming.
this thing.
Yeah, they coming.
They are coming. So, so I think that probably close to 100,000 people are going to vote in this, which is a third more than voted last time.
Wow.
So,
So
You
are
really-
you just for Texas, or are you for all of the
it's a
districts?
specific district. So
Yeah.
yours is Lawrence Allen
I'm
on
Lawrence
the
Allen
other side of
side.
Harris County. That's
Right.
the east side of Harris County. Mine is the west side of Harris County.
Okay.
Yeah. And his is actually east and south, I guess.
Yeah,
Or
under there.
surrounding.
Okay. And it was, I know it was quite a few of them were running, but like I
Yeah.
said, not too many people, because I was telling them about this. Not too many people, like Josh said, know a whole lot about this race. They're
Very
like, what are
much
you
so.
talking about?
Yeah.
Especially state, you know, like
Yeah.
because everybody kind of, if they know about something, they know about the HISD board.
Right.
But-
That's always
but-
in the news.
You know,
Yes.
it's like, yes. But people really don't know about the Texas
No, they
State
don't.
Board of Education.
No.
And you guys have the power, so
Yes,
it's
they
like
do.
you guys, we have the power to really control not only Texas, but really how the country moves.
Right.
And they like to say like, oh, the way California moves, the country moves, but no, it's really Texas.
Right, because California does not adopt textbooks as a state in high school. They only do K through 8. So the individual districts get to adopt their own textbooks in high school. So California doesn't control high school level textbooks really at all. It is all Texas. Because
Wow.
only about less than 10, I think, states still adopt as a state. That's actually one of the things I want to do, is to lobby the legislature to stop that. Because what is a perfect textbook for me in Alden
Yeah.
or in HISD
It may
is
not
not
be.
necessarily Lubbock's perfect
Yes.
textbook.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
So I think the districts, especially because we are so varied in our types of districts, should be have more power. And-
You know, but then I was thinking like, then people are being educated two different things. One is being educated that Moses is here, and the other one is being educated that.
No, because
Okay. Yes.
the State Board of Education will still control the standards.
Okay.
So the textbooks will have to be written to the standards the State Board of Education
Okay.
okays.
Okay. Okay.
But, you know, Houghton Mifflin and I don't know, Pearson
Yeah.
and whoever else writes textbooks,
right.
you know, Lamar Consolidated ISD can get one, and Katy ISD can get a different one if they
Yeah.
so choose. I know that this last time they changed the HISD or the social studies standards, and people did not like it. So the state is very conservative, but HISD is not run by conservatives, right?
Mm.
So HISD actually refused to buy any textbooks for high school social studies, and they now use online resources, which is great because if there is a change in something, it's automatically updated. You don't have to wait 15 years for the new textbook to come out. So, I mean,
Well,
but
then
that only works in a district where every student has a laptop.
Yes.
I was just about to
That's
say
it.
that.
So we
or
all don't have access
you
to
need
that.
you need some kind of computer, some kind of
Right.
iPad, some kind of
Right.
tablet.
Something. Yeah,
to
because
be able-
Aldine is not a one-to-one district. Where I'm teaching now, our students, the students of Aldine do not have laptops.
Do they have smart boards?
We do have smart boards.
Okay.
Yes, and
That's a
beacon
big
boards.
deal, yeah.
And my school, because it's a brand new school, the school I'm teaching at, is brand new, and we're a technology school.
Okay.
So we convinced the district
I
that
know
we
where your
needed to
school
be
is, yeah.
one-to-one, right?
Right.
So, so my school, every student does have
A
a
laptop.
laptop.
Absolutely. Yes.
But we are literally the only school in the district
Wow.
that has laptops.
And all of
So-
the thousands of kids that do not have that technology
Exactly.
at their resources for them.
They're still learning 1920s.
Yeah, the same way that
Textbook.
people were learning 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We still take out the paper and read the books. You know, I think we do need to have our children. If you look at across the world, this nation, little bitty kids know how to use the remote. They know how to
They
use
do.
computers. They know how to use everything. So I just don't think it's fair for our underserved children to be left out on technology.
Absolutely not. It is, if they are not learning to use technology
Right.
in education, then how are they going to succeed in college or in a career that involves technology? They really, truly do need to be using technology, at least in high school,
Right.
if not middle school, and even elementary. And I know
Right.
they have Chromebooks,
Right.
You know, and they have, you know, a computer lab
A.
for you know, an entire
Every
school.
Right.
That's not enough. That means you're using the technology 3 or 4 times a year
Yeah.
if you have a computer lab for an entire school, and that's just not enough.
So we established the graduation requirements.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was done per per independent school district.
No.
I didn't know that Texas, as the board,
Yeah.
decided on what you graduate with.
Right.
Yes, what credits you have to
Yeah.
have to graduate is decided by the State Board of Education. And I actually would like to add something to that because currently most school districts do require it, but the state of Texas does not, and that's high school health. High
Yeah.
school health is not a required
It's
course
not.
to graduate in the state of Texas. And that is ridiculous in a state that we just talked about, the high pregnancy rate
Yes.
and
Yeah.
STI rate,
The
and so
HIV
forth.
rate. Yes.
HIV rate. I mean, it's unacceptable that we do not require health. And in addition, it's not, the health curriculum isn't just physical health. It also discusses depression and anxiety and
Yeah.
stress and how to deal with those things.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly important. I mean, we have a ridiculous teen suicide rate in this
Yeah, we
country.
do. Yes.
Yes, we do.
And we have got to give these kids
We don't talk about it.
skills to deal
Coping
with
skills.
skills. And the only logical place to do that other than an elective is health.
Yeah.
So if you're not requiring it to graduate, you're not going to get any.
Well, and that goes with consent to treat consent. Like teaching about rape, teaching
Right.
about not we just don't teach that any longer. And so when we're in middle school and high school, when all your hormones are going like crazy, I can't remember what I did in elementary school, but I have a clear picture of what happened in middle school and in high school. So it's just crazy that the Texas is currently we pride ourselves with so much,
Yes.
and so guys, if you guys are listening to, I hope you guys are registered to vote.
Yes.
That is the main.
February 3rd is the deadline to register to
Yes,
vote in the
guys.
primary.
And I'm a registered. Get with me if you haven't
Yes.
registered to vote, and if you live in Harris County or the surrounding counties. I have the 6 surrounding counties of Harris County, And so if you
Your
live,
voter registrar for all
Yes,
those counties,
yes.
that's lovely.
so
yes.
if you cannot tell me if you live in like one of the
Somewhere.
somewhere around here within like 250
can
mile
get 'em.
radius, I got you covered.
All right.
So come at me and let's get you registered to vote. But other than that, like we were talking about your district. It's just so crazy how your district is.
Massive.
Going from Tomball, Killeen, Springs, Cypress, Copperfield, Jersey Village, Memorial Heights, Westview, River Oaks, the Heights, Katy. It is absolutely crazy how your district is.
It's
Yeah,
massive.
It's
It's
massive.
Yeah, each state board of education district is about twice the size of a state senate district, and the state senate districts are already
Huge.
bigger than a
Yeah.
congressional district. So yeah, it's crazy.
But yours is all Harris County, is that
All
right?
Harris County,
Okay.
which is good because if it wasn't all Harris County, I would have had to drive to Austin to file to vote.
Oh no,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. Like what? Other than getting engaged in our politics, what else do you suggest people to like? Vote for your campaign. Get out there, know what you're doing. Of course, if they listen to our show, they know we talk a lot about politics. And so, but somebody who will Google your name, because we'll put this on YouTube, and we'll find your, how do we convince these people to show up and actually vote and actually let them know that this is a winnable seat, and your vote is not being cast, because you're like, oh, I always vote this and it's never, like nothing ever happens, no change ever happens, but we're just so close to achieving that, So I want to be sure we reiterate to our listeners, voting is essential, but also is getting out there, helping the candidate win, because that is the main thing. Like, Beto lost by
2.5%.
it's something crazy, and I don't think that we will ever get another candidate in anytime soon that will come as close as Beto did. I just don't see it at the
Well, I
moment.
think Beto's going to run for something statewide in 2022. Don't you think?
I don't know.
I think he'll either run for governor or
Something.
He should run for governor. That would be an awesome race to
That
do.
would be awesome.
But besides that, how do we convince the voters to vote today? Vote. The primary is coming up. It's in March. It's not that far away. I mean, we're already in December. You've been at this since May. I've been seeing you. I've been following you since November, maybe October, when I joined the caucus, and that's when I saw you start from November. So you've been doing this for a long time. And you've only reached 500,000 voters or 5,000 voters.
That's in person, though,
But
right?
we still need 100,000. So we need 95,000 more voters out there. So with these, we have about 10,000, 20,000 listeners out there in the Houston area. So guys, if
Right.
you're listening, register to vote, and then also volunteer.
Sure.
And we'll make sure we link her website in our comments and our information. But how else can we help you?
So some of the things you can do, you can follow my Twitter and retweet. You can follow my Facebook and share my posts. You can talk to other people that live on the west side. Even if you don't live on the west side in the district, talk to the people you know that do live on the west side in the district and convince them. As far as how do we convince people to vote, I do this all the time because I'm a government teacher, right?
Yes.
That's what I do is I explain to my students why they should vote. And, I do things like show them the documentary 13, which isn't that powerful? Which is about the prison system, the private prison system, and all of the things that have been done since the 13th Amendment, which is what supposedly freed the slaves, but it has that extra part in there about how if you commit a crime and are convicted, then your freedom can be taken away and you can be forced to work, right? Basically, you go right back into slavery. And so, by showing them those things and that people that we vote for can either continue the same policies that make that school to prison pipeline that we were talking about continue, or they break that school to prison pipeline, and make it so that a little bit more equity enters our society. I know my students are very frustrated, especially those that voted for the first time in 2016, and then the Electoral College overruled
Screwed
their
us,
vote.
yeah.
Yeah, screwed us, that's right. I know they're upset. They tell me all the time, I don't ever want to vote again. And I'm saying, that's exactly what they want.
That's what
Yeah.
they want.
They want you to not ever vote again. I think that we are so close to flipping Texas. And I don't know if it's gonna happen this year. But if it doesn't happen this year, it's almost certainly gonna happen in 22. And if we can flip Texas, Republicans will never win a presidential, won't win one for a really long time. Because if Texas flips blue to the Democrats, then they would need 3 of those smaller swing states to go the other way. And we can do this.
Yes, yes, we
There-
can.
We can do this. I think that there are some great people running for president. I think that there are some great candidates running for Senate. I think there are some great candidates running in some of the congressional districts and the House districts you mentioned earlier, and state Senate.
Right.
There are some amazing candidates. And if you don't want to work on my campaign because education's not your passion issue, figure out what your passion issue is and find the candidate that's
Yes.
talking about it.
Yeah.
Just
And
platform.
exactly. I mean, Ann Johnson in 134,
Right.
she's human trafficking, right? And Ruby Powers in 134, she's an immigration attorney.
Yes.
And Akilah Basie in 138, all about equity and bringing equity to the schools of the Northwest Side. There is a candidate out there that can gather that passion you have
That's right.
and put it to work to flip the 9 state house seats that we need to
Yes,
flip to flip
yes.
the state
Yes.
house.
And you know, it's only 9. That's incredible.
It
Like,
is
it's
incredible.
not. We don't need 19. We don't need 20. We need 9.
9.
And 9 is
9.
very achievable, guys.
It is very achievable.
It's very, very, very achievable. Thank you so much again for coming on our show. I just want
Yes,
my
to
pleasure.
just shout out to you for last
Yes.
minute deciding to come in on. I think education is really important to talk about, and I wanted to make sure that we get people to start talking about education and to start talking about what's happening in our schools, because what's happening in Houston is crazy. I don't understand how we're so low. Why is any state in Texas or any city in Texas trying to be taken over by the state? Why are we not pouring our money into fixing the schools? You know, I saw that you also approved the teacher requirements of the certificate,
Yeah,
right?
Certification. Uh-huh.
What is the education? What is the teachers?
Certification
Yes,
requirements.
yes.
So, there are different ways to become a teacher. Some teachers go through and get their bachelor's degree.
That's what I did.
They get their bachelor's degree in education, right? Those usually are your elementary school teachers. That's usually who that ends up being. Then you went through alternative as well. I went through alternative certification. I was almost 40 when I became a teacher. And alternative certification. The big difference between teachers who go through alternative certification and teachers who go the traditional route. Teachers who go the traditional route on average teach for 5 years. Teachers who go through alternative certification generally spend the rest of their life in teaching.
Wow.
Because we've already had a career in something else.
Most time it's our second career.
Yeah. I mean, I was in retail management for 20 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I was in corporate for 20.
So, we've done it. We've been
Yeah,
there, done that.
So we ain't going
Right?
back.
We figured out what our passion was,
Right.
and it was
That's right.
education.
Yeah.
So, there are 2 pathways that you can take, and either one of them is a good pathway. But I do think that 22-year-olds in the classroom are often overwhelmed. It is a stressful job. I cried at least once a week. Not in the classroom with the kids,
No.
but I cried at least once a week that first year
I think
teaching.
they're starting to cry in the classroom because a lot of them, I tell them, especially if you're in high school, there's not much difference. They're not going to listen to you. Even middle school, they're going to give you the side eye. And then the little one, you're not my mom, so they're not going to, you just my big sister. So then somebody our age come along, they know better. They like, that's more like Granny. I better sit down and be quiet.
Yes.
So we don't have any problems with them. But I do agree, when you first come out, it is really hard on those teachers. And it seems like they're not equipping them now, you know, to deal with the issues that the children are having. And what they teach in school is what they learn to get that degree is not what is going to be like in the real classroom.
I mean, you think there should be an age requirement to teach?
I don't think
I don't think so. No.
because there
No,
are some
well,
teachers
no, I mean,
that are
to
very
teach-
young that
to
are
teach, like,
amazing.
High school and like middle school. Because,
So
Yeah,
what
especially
a
for 8
good
hours.
teacher is going to do is they're going to use those supplements,
Yes.
right?
That's what I
There's
was
a lot of technology out there that's free
Yeah.
for teachers, and the students can answer a question
Yeah.
using an
That's
app on their
That's
phone.
right.
And that is how you control phone use in your class,
Right.
is by incorporating,
I'm a little scared of that, but yes, I'm not
Yeah.
a teacher,
right?
you know, but
And a lot of
I-
teachers are scared of it,
Yeah,
which is
a lot
why they
are.
don't do it.
yeah, but I see, you know, so part of the state board of education, can you guys say we want to have every school has to have a
There's no money for
magic, or I mean
Smart board.
Breaking
He says
boards or
smart.
something.
a magic
No.
board or
There's
The
no
State Board of
money for
Education
that.
can't say that.
That's taxpayer money,
yeah,
right?
That's taxpayer money.
And they're not gonna vote for
The
that.
legislature could institute a rule, but if they were going to, then they would have to pay for it.
Where's the money coming from?
And it's like, I don't know exactly how much they are, but they're
Very
pricey.
expensive.
they're pretty expensive. So, and there's a lot of classrooms. Um, So I don't think that they could. Now, what a lot of schools, like we're not even a year old. We are one semester old as a school,
yeah.
Mhm.
and we have already applied for 50 grants and received probably 7 of them.
Yeah.
A good school with a good principal that knows how to write a grant, they can get you their technology.
Mhm.
It's out there. You were talking about raising $350,000 or whatever it was, and that's probably mostly donations. And you probably
Right.
have you even started running grants yet?
Mhm.
Right.
I am a grant
But
writer.
you're gonna. There you go. Right. I mean, anybody that's gonna
Yeah.
run a school and they're gonna do a good job of it is gonna have to write grants
You have to.
because they're everywhere. I mean, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation
Yes.
gives away literally $100 million a year, and most of that goes to education.
Yes.
So, you know, when schools are, it is hard out there because
Yes,
it
it
is
is.
expensive to run a school, and it is stressful, and it is
Oh, I bet.
painful,
Mhm.
right? It's painful because when you're working in these low, socioeconomic level areas where we want to work because
Yeah.
those kids need us,
Right.
then you don't have a PTA
Nope.
that's buying $1,000
Yeah.
whatever for the cafeteria or whatever for the whatever. the art
We
room
struggle
or
just to
whatever.
make sure our children have food every day.
Exactly.
That's our we just make sure our children have food.
Right. So, if you're gonna successfully run a school in an area like that, you've got to be a grant writer. You've got to. We have a grant committee. I mean, we have
Yes.
like a certain number of sitting committees.
Yeah.
And I sit on the grant committee because I know how important it is.
Yes.
Can the Texas Board of Education say, not lost my train of thought. I wanted something to do with like not technology, but saying, okay, so you may not be able to afford this luxury thing, but okay, you do have to provide your child with like a tablet or
They can't tell. They can't require any kind of technology.
any kind of technology
No.
at all whatsoever.
What we could possibly do is incorporate in the TEKS
Right.
for every subject technology.
You have to use it.
right? And that's the
Yeah.
way it should be. Because you should be using technology in every
Right.
course. I mean, our art teacher, our health teacher, our coach,
Right.
they're using technology.
Yeah.
Because we have the technology. And and you don't have to specify a type of technology in the
Right.
takes, and you wouldn't, because every school's different. But incorporating technology can happen
Many
easily.
ways.
Yes, so
Yeah,
many
before we
ways.
had the smart boards, I used to get a projector screen and just a
Exactly.
regular screen and hook it up to my laptop so I could
Right.
still use YouTube, I could still
Exactly.
use my apps,
Yeah.
and
That was my
I
old
would, yeah, and I would go to Friars and buy the external speakers and just
Yes.
turn it up for the kids. So I still was able to get my kids to be able to use technology, and we could still use real time.
Yeah. And smart boards are really great. There's a lot of really great math apps.
Oh yes.
For the smart board,
Mhm.
and getting kids to truly conceptually understand. I used to be a math teacher. To truly conceptually understand math and not just follow this set of
Yes.
instructions
Yeah.
means using things like that.
Yes.
Because
Manipulatives and
manipulatives, right?
everything.
And you can use those manipulatives digitally, so they're not
Yeah.
constantly being lost. Because
Yeah.
that's what usually happens in math class.
Can't find them.
Can't find them. So, you know, it is.
So much.
There's so much technology out there. I mean, allowing the kids to use their cell phones for
Yes.
technology. It can't just be as simple as that. I mean, there's just so much that ignoring it is a detriment
Yes.
to you and to your students. And I do not understand. I understand that there are teachers that they've never dealt with it. You know, they barely have a cell phone, maybe. And
True.
and they're afraid of it, and I get that. But there is somebody on your campus, if not
No, one
half
of those
the people.
kids can tell you what to do.
I mean, whenever I couldn't get my laptop to do something,
Those
I would
kids-
just get one of the students to do it, because they knew how
They
to
knew
get
what to
around
do.
the block,
Yep. They know how
the
to get
YouTube
around
block,
Yeah.
right? They knew how.
Then the
So
block
yeah.
the school put on the restrictions.
Exactly.
They know how to get around.
They know
They
how.
know how to
They
get
figured
around
that
it.
out the first day of school.
Yep.
So, and I never tried it,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I didn't.
They know.
They know.
Yeah, that's good, you know. So like, I want to make sure that we also like, while we're talking about education, you know, I want to make sure our listeners are understanding that it's so important to, and this is our future. You know,
Yes.
like we can't. We talk about education and we say that we want our kids to learn and we want our kids to have a better system, but it all starts with the Texas Board of Education.
Yes.
It all starts by voting in people like Michelle Palmer into the board.
Mhm.
It's all by having, making sure that we are doing what we need to do as citizens, going to the meetings, going to the school district. Not all parents have the ability to read your kid a book, but
That's right.
tune into Lady Hale.
Yeah.
She reads the books every day at 8 o'clock. You know, log into there's options available that use technology. You know, okay, so your 1 hour a day, your 30 minutes is Lady Hale for bedtime, for your bedtime story. You know, but we're here like talking all this stuff, but like no one's gonna be really interested. Like we go tomorrow, and people are like, yeah, I want to sign up. They have the best intentions. How do we keep them engaged? The primaries is still a little bit far away.
Right.
March is not far from
No.
May
Less
at
than
all.
2 months.
Yeah.
from
You
now.
know, but
That's
people
not a lot of
will
time.
like go home tomorrow and how like are listening to our show. Yes, I want to help. Do it right now. So log into your website, sign up for updates, you know, or like your page,
Something.
and that way stay up to date with the information. Go do it right now. So one more time, give them your information, give them your Facebook address. So if you're listening to our show right this second, stop what you're doing, and you're gonna listen to this as if or write it down. This is because education is so important. We can talk about everything else. We can talk about Senate races. We can talk about our presidential. But education is how we educate our kids. Our kids is what our future is going to be like, you know. And so if we can't educate our kids, if we can't teach our kids about abstinence, if we can't teach our kids about actual sex practice, about climate
Consent.
change, consent, about what is consent, you know, what is rape, you know, what no means, you know, what there's other types of parental, there's different types of birth control out there. it's not just one
Ask
type.
Anton on me.
Oh, okay. Anton?
Yeah, I have a question for her.
Anton Bowles.
Yes,
Hi,
she
Anton.
know you, Anton.
Okay.
You ready now?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, what's going on?
Non-Texas residents.
Don't cause any problems.
Right, go to sleep.
Yeah, you're a non-Texas resident anymore, so you
So
don't.
we don't even have to take your
You,
call.
you left Texas, okay?
Yes, yeah. So
You
how
know
can, how
what?
can I
Yeah.
help you?
What can we do for you today?
Y'all better be nice to me.
No,
Stay in your
left us.
state.
You left us. We're not nice anymore.
What's your question?
Whatever. So you guys
You
are
betrayed
sitting
us.
there talking to Michelle Palmer.
Yes.
And I applaud Michelle because Michelle is very knowledgeable
Yes, she
and
is.
is
She's
the best
very
candidate
knowledgeable.
for that position. And I think that it's important that parents and community members and other politicians start to gather around and support those new faces. Because you need change. You know, yes, I did leave Texas, and I would tell you the school district that my kids are in now, everything that we asked HISD for and ALEAF for, they've already been doing for the last 10 years. And so it's very concerning to me that children in those financially disadvantaged areas and Black and brown communities are still being slowly trickled into order. At some point, we'll be grossly pushed into the school to prison pipeline if we don't
Right.
get people in office that are actually going to fight and get more funding and more programs in place that help change the turn the tide. And so, Michelle, I look forward to seeing all that you can do, and good luck on your campaign, and fight.
Thank you, Anton.
Well, that was nice of him.
Oh, I can't believe
Thank-
it was nice.
I know. Thank you, Anton, for being so nice on our show today.
That's a first.
Yeah, we miss you.
Right, that is a first.
We missed the real Anton, dog.
Yeah, this is a real Anton.
Where's
nice
the
guy.
wine? Where's
Oh,
Where's
no,
the box?
no.
Get delivered.
No.
Go pray for your salvation.
No, but
you guys have?
Michelle's, you're very knowledgeable
Yes.
on all the questions that we asked and about history,
Thank you,
and
Anton.
it's really important about to have somebody in this position who knows the facts, who's like, okay, check, yes. What do you
Yes.
have for me? Check, yes. This is what my passion is. You know, this is what you have spent your whole life. Like when we asked you why did you decide to run, you're like, well, there's nobody else qualified to do this.
All
Like,
right now.
there's nobody. I saw people like, hey, are you gonna run? You should run. They're like, no, you're the most qualified person to run. So thank you so much for taking
Yes.
this. And I hope our listeners who are listening to our show and or our viewers who maybe listen to it will see us later on YouTube.
Yes.
Make sure you when you see this and make sure you understand that it's these races that count the most almost. You know, we can presidential, U.S. They're going to be on the ballot, but so is Michelle.
Yes.
And so make sure you when you take, you know, if you can vote for your Texas Department of Education, and if you're in that 6th district, make sure you vote for Michelle. That is just as clear as I can get from you guys, people. She's out there in the community doing what she's already a teacher. Being a teacher is the most, like, that's how you have your knowledge. That's how are you not going to be a teacher and you're going to be on the Texas State Board of Education?
Right.
You know,
Half the people on there. have
that's what I'm
never
saying.
been
Like,
teachers, so.
how does that happen? Like, how do you are on a board of education and you're not even a teacher, so you don't know what's happening in the classroom.
Never step foot
You
in
don't
the
know
classroom.
what's going in day to day. And ALEAF is different from HISD. It's
Yes.
different in Cypher. When we moved to Houston, my mom decided to move us to Cypher. She was like, "There's no way in hell we're gonna go to HISD.
She said, no way, huh?
No way, you know." And I can see Cypher actually has a decent school program. You know, it's out there, you know, but it's affordable. But people shouldn't have that. People want it, so being elected, so the Texas is not HISD, is not ALEAF, it's the Texas. So Texas controls all of it. She controls, you know, the teachers, how the teacher notifications. She controls the charter school. She controls what the textbooks will say, and textbooks are released every year, or how? Like,
So every year, the State Board of Education goes through a process to adjust the curriculum for a different subject. So this year they're doing health. Last year they did social studies. And so after they adjust curriculum, then they go through the process of adopting new textbooks. So it's usually about every 8 to 10 years that they do each subject. So the textbooks that Texas adopted for social studies last year will be continue to be used for the next 10
years.
years or so.
Well, that's why we need you on our post now, so that in 10 years
That's
from
a
now,
lot
our
of
kids
information.
can start being educated properly, because that's what we need. I mean, it doesn't happen
Current
overnight.
issues.
We didn't get here overnight, and we're not going to leave this problem overnight. But it's electing the officials is to get out there. So thank you again so much for coming on my show. I have another special guest here, Apostle William Campbell. Mr. Campbell, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
See?
Go ahead, Mr. You have a tour coming up.
No, I didn't even know I was coming there. You just,
I'm
I
putting
Keep
you
it
on the
moving.
spot.
Keep it moving.
No,
Okay, keep it moving.
Keep it
All right.
moving.
we can go. So full of, yeah, oh, let me turn my mic
I just want to give you a little, thank you for coming
2
on my show.
minutes.
And I know you have a tour coming up, so I want to make sure people are aware that we can get their tickets. He's trying to find out where his well, it's
That's fine, you
is
got
it
to
sold
like my
is
Facebook.
it sold
People
out?
say they're going to be voting for you.
You don't have to like my Facebook
Thank you
live.
very much.
Don't forget,
Yeah,
Delma,
but-
did you get out her information? She didn't even give her
Man,
information, did she?
we doing
Because they're asking about her
listeners,
text, her,
one more time,
her
Michelle.
text, they're asking about
Website
your,
and everything?
yeah,
Yes.
how they can
So-
volunteer.
Website is palmerfortexased.com.
So,
Palmerfortexased.com.
Palmer is P.
Palmar,
They asking about it.
FOR Texas at ed.com. Facebook is facebook.com/palmerfortexased.com or Palmer for Texas Ed. Twitter is Palmer 4 Texas Ed, and Instagram is Palmer for Texas Ed as well. So
Where can they donate?
generally, they can donate on my Facebook page has a link to my website.
Okay.
My website has a donation link at the top.
So what are your immediate needs for volunteers right now? For
So,
everything?
Donations are always important.
Right.
We're going to be block walking pretty much every weekend between now and March 3rd,
Okay.
and a lot of weeknights as well.
Okay.
Although it's hard because it gets dark so early,
Yes.
right? So now that I'm getting out of school at 2:30, then I
It
can go
gives you a
block
little
walk,
extra.
but most volunteers can't do that. I do have a lot of volunteers that are
Retired people.
or are college students, so
Okay,
they
that's
can
good.
help. So yeah, those are the two big things. Also, if you live in the district and have a yard that you could put a yard sign in, that would be good.
And bring us a sign. We can put one up here
Okay.
for the station.
All right,
Make
I
sure
will
you
do
get with us.
I should be getting my signs next week.
Okay.
So
I can pick up some and put out some
that'd be
signs.
awesome. Those are the big things.
Okay.
Donations, block walking,
What about
share
phone banks?
posts. We're
Phone
going to have
banks?
some phone banks, and I think we're going to have a few postcard writing parties as well, because I have some like retirement houses and apartment complexes that you can't get into.
Right.
And so we're gonna write to the what are called the double and triple Gs,
Yes.
right? The people that voted Democratic primaries, we're gonna write them to
Right.
to get them to vote
Yeah.
for us as well.
And my
So-
show is on every Tuesday from 6 to 8 p.m. You're more than welcome anytime you like to come on. Thank you.
Alright, Mr.
We're
Apostle.
siblings, so this
Don't
is
pay
what
us
we
no
do.
attention.
So ain't nobody paying attention to this point over here. Go ahead with your interview. I'm sorry for that rude interruption that she just did.
Why you always follow me?
Mr. Apostle Campbell, I know you
You
have
don't want to ask me to come.
you have a tour coming up, right? you have a tour coming up. I know it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, yes.
and you're gonna be singing.
I ain't singing all the days. It's only it's a preaching and singing tour.
Okay. So you have a whole group of people that are
There's a
gonna be.
whole group of people coming from out of town.
So
to the-
let's take a step back there real quick. What is the event, and what is the event called? What does it start?
The event is called Azusa Encounter World Tour. We started it in last year in the month of, I think, July. I went on and took over it and started doing tours with it from my friend, which did it years ago, Bishop Carlton Pearson. And so we've taken it and started doing a tour with it, and added some new concepts to it and stuff like that. And so we did 3 locations last year, and we started back out because last year we didn't start it in Houston, we started it somewhere else. But we started here back in Houston, Texas, and I'm excited because actually all 3 nights were mostly 2. The 17th and the 18th is the 18th is completely sold out.
Wow. That's amazing. That's awesome.
Friday is almost there. It's not quite there. So, and then Sunday, it's a lot of people come on Sunday.
They say your time is what? Didn't they say that?
Don't listen to them.
Who said
They
that?
did say that. They said your time is
Ain't nobody studying them. Anyways, I'm on the air. Thank you.
So this is a resurrection tour.
It's a who?
Resurrection?
Oh, yes. You can read it off if you want to.
No, I'm asking you.
Yes, the resurrection.
I want to make sure like people are aware what kind of this is ministry, right?
Yeah,
So
it's ministry.
so
It's
when
marketplace. If you don't stop interrupting me, look.
when you go there, you're gonna experience. You're there to worship the Lord. You're there to worship, right? That's what the main experience is? You're going there is to.
Yeah, that's the ultimate experience. But the main focus is not just that. It's also spiritual and natural. You got healing, deliverance, miracle signs and wonders. People being filled with the Holy Ghost and getting knowledge of what the kingdom is, but also getting knowledge of natural aspects as well. You can have all the spiritual, but if you ain't got no natural, how you gonna live your life? You can be spiritually on cloud heaven 24/7, but if you don't have any natural aspect of marketplace, money, business, economics, all that kind of stuff, we're teaching all of that, in one setting. So it's different concepts along with one big vision and one big tour, added in one place. And it's everybody's welcome to come. It's multicultural. I believe in bringing empowerment. I believe in challenging people's mindsets and where they really are in their spirituality and where they are in a natural basis. I tell people all the time, you can't teach nothing that you haven't been through.
Yeah.
You can't awaken anybody to something that you have not been awakened to. You can't train anybody that you have not been trained in first yourself. And so what we're doing is we're bringing not just a teaching, but we're training them from a practicalization standpoint, so that they may be able to apply it in their daily lives. And that's Friday and Sunday. That's the Azusa Encounter Tour. But God put it in my spirit to implement something else, so that's why we're doing the live in concert tour for those that love music and want to hear different artists and have not been able to hear my EPs or my albums. That's the time where you can hear it. Because I told them that we were going to do it through the Azusa Encounter Tour, but that one's mainly focused on getting people set free, getting people awakened.
Can I ask what is the Azura? What is
Azura.
Azusa. What is it called?
Azusa Encounter.
Azusa.
Azusa Encounter has been here for years, before I was even born.
What does that mean, though?
The meaning of it?
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, they had built Azusa Street Revival to bring the Holy Ghost. People and people's, getting baptized in the Holy Ghost, and it was like a Pentecostal move, charismatic move back in the day. You know, where people were, you know, it was a church thing. So you know, they just called it the Zuzu, and it started back in the 1800s.
Wow.
So I wasn't even alive then, but God put it in my spirit to bring it back. But this time, bring it back differently. And when we talk about resurrection, we're resurrecting things internally. We ain't talking about something, you know, on the outskirts. We're talking about something internally. Because there's a lot of people walking around here with dead things on the inside.
Yes.
Like gifts are dead, passion is dead, your heart is dead, your mind is dead. Ain't nothing really living. You just here. You're here. You're present, but ain't nothing living on the inside. And so we're resurrecting and rebirthing something that cannot be just a help to you, but to people all around. And that's what your gift is really for. You know, the church is not somewhere where you just go and you sit and hear a message and no application whatsoever. It's a kingdom training center. You're training the people on how to use their gifts. You're training the people on how to use their mindsets. You're training the people on how to be delivered, how to be healed. The process, the steps of how to get to this and point A and point B and point C. That's what the church is about. It's not really the church because we are the church. It's a building. It's a building where the church, where the people of God come together and be taught and be trained and then sent out. Because you can't be sent out with a bunch of zeal with no ammunition. You can't go out with a gift but with no power.
So who's all going to be there? It's going to be you, and then who else is going to be?
Now on Friday night.
So what's the time? Is it going to be like people speaking, motivation speaking, or like coaching? Is it going to be lots of singing?
That's every now and then. We don't do that all the time. Sometimes.
Or should we expect when someone
When
goes
you,
there?
what should you expect? You should expect to come and experience the glory of God. Come.
However that moves you.
Right. Come. However that moves you. Come looking or expecting for God to change your life. Some people just come just to see who's there. You know, what change do you get out of that? You know, come expecting to be impacted. Come expecting to be taught, be trained, and be awakened to something that you ain't never known before. That's something that has never been revealed to you. Whether it's about God, or whether it's about business, or whether it's about your mind, or whether it's about how your heart operates, or whether it's about how your gift operates. But not just that, you know, come expect to be, I wouldn't say entertained, but be blessed by singing. There's a lot of people that's going to be there singing. National Recording Artists, award-winning artists, people coming in from out of town. On Friday night we have National Recording Artist, good friend of mine, Janice Peterson, Townsend. Also on Friday night we have gospel recording artist Rosina Williams coming, and also Pam Mays. She'll be doing prophetic worship dance. Anybody that has ever been to my services, they already know what to expect, and the experience of it is so incredible. Until you're going to leave there changed. You don't have nothing else to do but leave there changed and impacted. And that's what it's all about, being impactful in everything that we do. On Saturday is a ticketed event. I'm so sorry if you didn't get your ticket.
You have mine.
Huh?
You have mine.
Did you pay for one?
You paid for it.
When did I pay for it?
You forgot to pay for it.
I forgot that I paid for
It's
it.
a comp. It's a comp.
Yes.
It's a comp ticket.
Anyway, back to what I was saying.
Michelle, this is not how it usually is.
You know, this ain't nothing but the spirit tell. Y'all pray for this for me. But anyway, so
We have family.
on Saturday, we have some phenomenal people coming. And I'm excited because this is my first one. I've been doing this for years. I've traveled all over the country. God has blessed me to put on events and concerts and revivals and encounters everywhere. But this is the first one to where it's completely sold out.
Wow.
Um,
That's amazing.
and I'm
Congratulations.
yeah, I'm excited, you know, and it's nothing but God, you know.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Saturday we have my good friend and buddy, Wallace, national recording artist Wallace Grant coming. He also has a new several EPs out. And then we have my friend and sis, that's a recording artist. She just released a CD not too long ago, Kay Jones. And then we have a national recording group. It's a whole bunch of them. And it's called Patrick Williams and UIP here in Houston. And then we have gospel recording artist Dr. Cephas Riggs. Am I saying that right? Did I say that right?
I don't know.
This is just easy.
I don't know if you're saying it right.
So that's and he's with WD Management Group, and also Rosina Williams is also with WD Management Group. I'm sorry if I'm not saying y'all's names right. Y'all can just call me separately. But you know, I'm excited about that. Now that night is a full concert. There will be no preaching.
And that's Saturday night.
People want to know what time and where it's going to be at.
For which night?
Saturday.
Any night.
It starts
Don't,
Friday.
well, I'm saying don't come on Saturday because it's already packed. It's completely sold out. So
But Saturday is
So
Saturday is
Saturday's
sold out.
What about Sunday?
Friday and Sunday you can come because I'm telling you,
How
come.
much is the ticket?
$10.
General admission is $10. VIP is $15.
What do I get for VIP?
What do you get for VIP?
Yeah.
You get Jesus. I'm just playing.
I don't
So-
want to talk to you.
So for VIP, you get reserved seating, you get private gathering afterwards, and you know little refreshments afterwards, all that kind of stuff.
Just juice and cookies.
No, not just that, but you know, just
Don't eat it.
finger foods.
Finger food. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. So
So-
on Friday, it's the same location.
What is the location? You never
Um,
get the address.
I'm trying to do it. So Friday, the location is Church on the Rock, right there on 9041 Cullen Boulevard, Houston, Texas.
South Park area.
I think that's
Color.
South Park,
Yeah, that's South
the
Park.
South Side.
What's
yeah.
the address?
The address is 9041.
That's down there by Reed Road.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
down there
that-
by Reed
yeah.
Road.
Uh-huh.
Cullen and Reed Road.
It's about, because the church sits right off of Cullen.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a barber shop next to it, and you'll see the church. It say Church on the Rock in the sign. So it's 9041 Cullen Boulevard, Houston, Texas. And the name of the church is Church on the Rock. Friday night is available, and Sunday night is available. To come, Friday it starts at 7 p.m. And then Sunday it's 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then Saturday doors open up at 5 p.m.
So where can people purchase tickets?
They can. We have physical tickets, or you can send it to my Cash App or PayPal, and we'll have your ticket when you come to the door, or we can email your ticket or whatever, however works for you.
Okay.
So general admission is $10.
Okay.
VIP
It is
is $15.
How soon do they have to? How soon do they have to? Can you purchase tickets at the door, or you only have to purchase them in advance?
I'll give you my number so you can reach out to me.
Okay.
Because the reason why I don't want to do the door is because it's going to be so many people, it's going to be crowded. And it's not going to, we want to start this thing in time. And the people who purchase tickets doors,
Still outside.
right, still outside, and they kind
The
of,
artists trying to sing and they
right,
outside.
and, people coming in and artists are coming in and security everywhere. So it just, it kind of, we don't want to
It's
clutter.
best to just
Right,
purchase
so,
in advance.
right, so here's my info. My info is 832-510-4507. Or you can reach me at Apostle Campbell 1029 at gmail.com, or you can inbox me on Facebook, which my name on Facebook is William Campbell. Again, my number is 832-510-4507. You can also email me at apostlecampbell1029@gmail.com. Again, y'all go ahead and get your tickets, all that kind of stuff. I'm just excited. I know the Lord is going to move. It's going to be phenomenal. I got some of my members coming in from Georgia. People coming hours away just to come to the event and the concert. And Saturday night, and see, the thing about it is, which is crazy to me, it's Saturday sold out in 1 week.
Oh, okay.
So it's the 18th, which is the live in concert, and what you expect there, we'll have a lot of the artists opening up, but it's my 2 EPs that we're doing. It's a CD release concert as well.
Okay.
So I'll be officially releasing Covered and I Am, which was released last year in 2019. And so we got some phenomenal people coming. The host pastor, his name is Pastor Bernard Womack. So Houston is not the only location. We got other states already coming aboard, other countries, and so it's going to be a big event. So you don't want to miss this event because it's going to be epic. It is going to be phenomenal, and we're expecting a great turnout every single night. So if you just reach me at that contact info, or you can follow me on Instagram, which is Apostle W. Campbell, or you can follow me on my Facebook page, which is William Campbell, and you'll see the flyer on my Facebook profile.
Okay, and just in case someone just want to make a donation, they can't come out to any of the services, where can they make the donations at?
If you
Just
want
to make a
if you want to send a donation or see into the ministry or the works, you can send it to this Cash App, Apostle Campbell. That's my Cash App, and you can send it either Apostle Campbell, or you can put the $, which is capital K INGDOM, age, and capital A in age, and then capital G in global. So Kingdom Age Global with the $sign in front of it, and you can send donation, or if you want to purchase tickets or whatever, you can send it through there. And then for PayPal, it's ApostleCampbell1029@gmail.com.
You have anything else coming up after this event?
Yeah, we have a lot of major things coming up, but I won't talk about it until tomorrow.
Okay, so people want to know, where can they go and keep up with all of the events? Where can they go? Is there a website?
Yeah, you can go now, which we'll be talking about tomorrow, which is my network and my organization. That's worldwide. It's Kingdom Age. You can go to this website, www.kingdomageglobalwixsite.com/mysite. Also, you can follow me on Facebook at William Campbell. You can also follow me on the artist page, which is Apostle William Campbell, or you can follow me on my television page, which is Keeping It Real with WC, the WC Show, or you can follow the network page, which is Kingdom Age Movement of Fivefold Global Network. So it's many different avenues, or you can look me up on Google, or you can purchase the music on Spotify or Apple Music, iTunes. It's everywhere. So it's unlimited.
All right, well, thank you for that. And they heard your phone number, but I want to give the lady of the hour. I want to make sure that, because they still asking about your information, so we need to find out, what do you want the people to know about your race? How many minutes we have, Josh?
We have about 5 minutes left.
Okay, and we'll give her the last 5 minutes. So state your name again, what you're running for, and how people can support you.
Okay. So my name is Michelle Palmer, and I'm running for State Board of Education District 6, which is the west side of Harris County. Where they can find information, palmerfortexased.com.
Okay.
Facebook.com/palmerfortexased. Twitter, Palmer the number 4 Texas Ed.
Okay.
And Instagram is also Palmer for Texas Ed. So
Okay.
Any of those, they can get in touch with me. Email if they want. That is Michelle, the number 4,
Okay.
SBOE, the number 6, at gmail.com.
Okay.
So any of those ways
They can reach
they can reach
So
me.
what is your basic platform? So you're talking about sparking the interest. So what is your platform you're running on?
So my platform is well, my hashtag is fidelity to the facts.
Okay.
Right? So I
Fidelity to
want
the
to
fact.
bring factual information back to our standards and take the propaganda out of it.
Okay. Okay.
So that's the primary thing that I am running on. Josh was talking earlier about how this affects the future, and
Right,
I talk
right.
about that in my speeches a lot. I talk about how in Texas, or especially in the Houston area, we have all these technology companies, and these technology companies come here and they set up headquarters, and then they can't find people to hire.
True. I agree.
They bring them from out of state.
Yes.
Right? And one of the reasons is because our standards, our curriculum, do not create the workers of the future.
I agree.
And so if we do not correct that and bring our curriculum into line with facts and the needs of the future, students who truly understand science
Yes. Yes.
and believe that climate change is real, and things like that, then that's never going to change.
That's true. That's
So if we want our students to be getting those great tech jobs,
true. Yes.
we've got to split the state board of education and fix the curriculum.
Okay. So that's it. So that's what we need to do. Go ahead and one more time, make sure they have your phone number. I don't know why they're not getting the phone number.
713
713
972
972
4764.
4764. She did say the phone number twice. I heard the phone.
PalmerForTexasEd.com.
All right, and please contact her. And if you want to volunteer on her campaign, especially if you want to make a donation, they need donations. So she's very passionate about our children and our education. And what I really like, she's for the underserved community and our special needs babies. So those are my two biggest pet peeves, those underserved and my special needs babies. So she has definitely hit that on there for me. And like I said, make sure you contact her because she is running, and the primaries is in March, right? March 3rd. So they can go to any location that's open for voting.
Absolutely.
Right,
Anything
and a
in
lot of
Harris
people
County.
didn't know that anything in Harris County you may go and vote for. Do you know what position you're on the ballot?
So I'm kind of in the middle.
Okay.
After the state Supreme Court and the state Court of Appeals.
Okay, so y'all look for her on there, but you don't know what number you are.
Not
Y'all
yet.
haven't
I haven't
drawn
seen
them.
that.
Okay.
Well, I'm first on the ballot.
Okay, she's first on the ballot, so
First
make
on the
sure you
ballot.
look for her first on the ballot, and make sure, because if you missed her interview, make sure you go to POZ Impact with Josh Mika. He will have this on his YouTube channel. You can also go to Real Talk with Lady Hale. I will have it on my Facebook page. Or if you need to contact me, because I'll have her information at 832-417-1696. Or you can get in touch with Josh Mika. Did you bring any cards? Because we can leave cards in the
I brought
back.
about 10.
Okay, well that's enough, and make sure, just give me, and I'll go ahead and make sure we have your signs, so we can put signs out here for you, and whatever you need us to do. We here at Real Talk 100, we support people in our community that support, certain issues that we're going on. So, and we want to thank Josh Mika with POZ Impact for having you on the show and bringing great things. And don't forget, tomorrow from 6 to 8 p.m. is Real Talk with Lady Hale. And don't forget, tomorrow from 8 to 8:30
I'll
is
be on tomorrow with my sis from 6 to 8 p.m. Can you see me?
No, nobody can see.
Okay, thank you. I'll be on tomorrow with her.
Yes. Okay. It's my radio show, I think. But anyway, I will have some unexpected guests on tomorrow. But I will have Mr. C.B. King tomorrow. I'm sure everybody saw this photo that was on Facebook where they posted, was in prison, and they said if you have your children around prison and people, this is what's going to happen to your children. But that wasn't not the case. It was a totally different story. And those were not his kids. Those were his brother's kids his brother had gotten killed. So he was raising the kid. So we're going to let him explain his situation, and he's opened an organization for youth coming out of prison. He works at the detention center. Those young men have turned their lives around. So make sure you hear tomorrow so you can hear. And we're going to be talking also about that prison situation in Mississippi. Somehow or another, I don't know how they had a video from the inside of what was going on into the prison. Somehow I got the video, and I'm like, all right, now don't y'all drag me into nothing. And so we will be discussing that. A lot of them sent me from pictures and video actually from the inside of the prison, and things were actually going on, and a lot of the relatives have reached out to us at the radio station. So I said I was probably get with Malcolm and we can see what we're doing, because I'm not really, that's not my forte. That situation that's happened in Mississippi, somehow some of the inmates there, they did get cell phones, and I was sent one of the videos from the inside of the prison, the actual killing, the actually everything. So they've asked us at Real Talk 100, what can we do? I'm like, okay, let me get with Malcolm and some of the other owners, because I'm not familiar with all of that's going on in Mississippi. And it's still five inmates dead. A lot of them have escaped. They have not found them yet. And it's just going on. So y'all join us tomorrow. And I will be discussing that with Mr. C.D. King. He spent 10 years in the federal prison himself, but he has been reformed. So we're going to definitely, if you can call in, if y'all can help us. I'm not going to show the video because I didn't know prisoners could have cell phones in there, and I don't know where they got my information from to send me a video, but that's all right. We're going to try to help them any way that we can. So we want to thank Mr. Josh Mika for always having a fabulous guest on here, and always, just thinking about everybody. He has a heart for everyone, and we just want to make sure that everybody go out and vote for you. So until next Monday, this has been Lady Hale, co-host with Josh Mika for POZ Impact. So we will be looking for you on next Monday, but join me and Josh tomorrow on Real Talk with Lady Hale from 6 to 8 p.m. And don't forget to go with Story Time with Lady Hale until next tomorrow. And until then, those are the only guests I will have on my show, so y'all tune in for the show.
Thanks.
Until next time, take us out, Mr. Josh.